A proper analysis will be drawn after the elections, but the experts are saying that the use of money in this election has certainly had a big influence on voter behavior. Senior Research Fellow from the National Research Institute, Dr. Andre Okole, says the behavior of voters have varied from past elections due to this main factor.
What is also an issue that perhaps is making a much more difference now more than ever is the issue of money. There's a lot more money being floated around, and especially in this particular elections, that has to be taken into account as a factor that makes the situation today as it is.
Apart from this, Dr. Okole says the LPV system of voting has also influenced voter behavior.
2007 and now the 2012, it's under limited preferential voting system, and people have said that just the design of the LPV has enabled voters to make those choices first, second, and third, and therefore it's less of a stressful issue for them, just like it is for the candidates and political parties that they have more choices with the LPV compared to the first past the post.
He said answers might emerge later as to why names of voters were missing on the electoral roll, despite them providing details during the process of update.
And I think we will, there's a time for answers to emerge out of this. And I think we will know as to what actually happened between the capitals and Port Moresby at some point in the near future. But I think, as what Dr. Neres touched on, I think the most important thing here is to make sure that we learn from this thing and what the steps that can be done to mitigate issues like this again in future, and especially to find ways of improving the electoral roll. I think that's the most important thing.
Dr. Ray Anere, also an expert from NRI, said this election was a disappointment for many voters throughout the country because the link between the voter and the electoral roll was missing. Both agreed that proper analysis is needed for better planning for future elections.
There is need to work on improving the electoral roll after these elections, to come up with a system of voter registration and identification where we can link voters to the electoral roll to enable them to cast their ballots, not just in the local level government elections, but also in the next general elections.
As what Dr. Neres touched on, I think the most important thing here is to make sure that we learn from this thing and what the steps that can be done to mitigate issues like this again in future, and especially to find ways of improving the electoral roll. I think that's the most important thing.
They agreed on the extension of the polling dates in certain parts of the country, saying there are provisions in the Constitution which gives the Electoral Commission the mandate to extend the deadline for polling. Michelle Amba, National EMTV News.